Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
So when you walk into Mateos Restaurant in East Boca Raton, Florida, great Italian restaurant. My dear friend Peter Kramer runs the place. There's a wall in the back, Bernard, by the bathroom and by the nice tables. And there's a big picture on that wall of me, Peter Kramer, and Judge Jeanine Pirro. Because the last time I was there, just so happened she was there too. And my beautiful wife, Danielle, and I walked over, had a great conversation. At that time, that was when she was going through all that difficulty with Fox News. You remember, Bernard. Oh, yeah. And there was some uncertainty as to her future there. Anyway, she was great. Her family was great. And as we know, she weathered that storm, and she's still at Fox News doing an amazing job. And she's got a brand new book out. It's titled Radicals, Resistance, and Revenge, the Left's Plot to Remake America. Here she is. Trump loves her. We love her. Mateos loves her. Fox News star Judge Jeanine Pirro. Good morning, Judge Jeanine.
Good morning. And, you know, when you talk about Mateos, I must tell you, the first thing I think about is my favorite dish there, which is Chicken Peter. And,
You know, it's funny you say that. You know, I've been going there for like 15 years, and the first time I ever had, I swear, Jeanine, the first time I ever had the Chicken Peter was that night when I saw you, and now that's my favorite dish.
Well, you know what? Peter would be thrilled to know that we love his favorite dish, and we're talking about it in New York. So how are you guys?
We're doing great.
Could be a lot worse, Judge Jeanine. Listen, I know you have a new book out, which is why you're on here this morning. It's called Radicals, Resistance, and Revenge, the Left's Plot to Remake America. So it's at Barnes & Noble. It's at Amazon.com. Go all over the place. Look for it. We'll talk about it in a little bit. First, I want to ask you about this Jeffrey Epstein thing. You went hard, really hard, against Acosta, the former labor secretary, on Saturday night, saying that it's all started with him letting Epstein off the hook.
Well, look, there's no question. Jeffrey Epstein would have been in jail for the rest of his life had Alex Acosta done what he should have done in 2005 when he took that case from the local DA, supposedly to make sure that justice was imposed, when all he did was take it and make sure that no one related to Jeffrey Epstein would ever be prosecuted for being a co-conspirator, for engaging in pedophile acts, for engaging in having sex with his sex slaves that he and his co-conspirators groomed and handed out like lollipops. I mean, this guy acted in a way that no prosecutor I have ever known in my, over 3 decades in law enforcement has ever acted as. And, all this horse baloney that he was throwing at us during that during that press conference when he was trying to save his job was just that, horse crap. The guy he doesn't deserve, as far as I'm concerned, to be an attorney. He doesn't deserve to be a prosecutor, let alone labor secretary, and I'm glad that Trump got rid of him.
Couldn't agree more, and I also never believed his dog and pony show from the very, very beginning, but it doesn't stop with Acosta in Miami, Jeanine, because you got to go back to New York. Cyrus Vance, this guy's unbelievable. Whether it's Harvey Weinstein, then Cy Vance is the guy that wants to lower his sex offender level. So, yes, Acosta in Miami was culpable. But how about Cy Vance in New York almost every time, Judge?
Well, look, this guy, Cy Vance, and that's what my open was about Saturday night on Fox. This guy used money and power to pretty much obstruct justice in the criminal justice system from New York to Florida and I'm sure beyond. When Cyrus Vance has an assistant district attorney that goes to a judge and requests the lowering of sex offender status so there wouldn't be so many safeguards on a pedophile, a serial pedophile, then you have to look at Cyrus Vance and say, what the hell are you doing? because he's the guy who didn't prosecute Harvey Weinstein when the NYPD put together a solid case, so solid, guys, that all you had to do was turn on the videotape and tell the jury, okay, go deliberate, and there'd be a conviction in 5 minutes. I don't know what this guy Cyrus Vance is about, but I'm not so sure he's about justice either.
Agreed. Like a lot of prosecutors these days, Justice Jeanine Pirro, listen, the Epstein sweetheart deal down in Florida immunized Epstein's co-conspirators, and Bill Barr said they should not rest easy. Is it? Right. Can they break that deal with these people, the feds?
They absolutely can break the deal, and I think Barr was working on breaking that deal because, look, you cannot immunize people for crimes in perpetuity, and that's what he did. You cannot immunize people whose names you haven't identified. And think about it. They didn't identify the names because they didn't want to publicize that they knew the names of these high-powered men. Now, who they were, we don't know. But you might start by looking at the number of times that people flew on that Lolita Express to his private island at where he had that, sex dungeon or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He had that. I don't know what it looked like, that striped building with a mattresses in it.
Sid could tell us.
And to do that is unheard of. It's never been done in the history of law enforcement. This deal was so corrupt it reeks to high heaven, and that's why I said Alex Acosta needs to be investigated. No prosecutor has ever, and by the way, where is your soul if you represent the United States federal government as a prosecutor to say we're going to cut loose every criminal? We're not going to say who they are because they're so influential that we don't want to hurt their reputation. We're going to cut them loose forever. How dare you? And how dare you meet with defense attorneys in a private room in a hotel?
That's right.
In a town where you've got your own office. What kind of deal went down in that hotel? What kind of deal went down where you decided you were going to violate the federal law and you were going to say, we're going to keep these girls, these young women out of this, which is required by law that they be included in it, in the Crime Victims Act. I mean, this guy Acosta, had he done his job, Epstein would have been in prison for the rest of his life. But instead, he let out a pedophile who does nothing but seek other victims. And that's the way it goes. I know. I did this for 30 years. All they do is they seek to prey on other vulnerable victims. Young women who may not come from solid families, who may be alone, who don't have anyone to complain to, and are afraid to complain because they're dealing with men at the highest level of power and government in the United States.
Last one.
Complain if you were 14?
Yep. No, you're right. I've got a 15-year-old daughter. It makes me sick. Yeah. Last one on the Epstein thing. We'll move on to this wonderful book you've got out, Judge Jeanine Pirro. Despite the evidence, when I say evidence, I mean the autopsy, telling us that there were some injuries consistent with murder and not suicide. I still am not sure that he killed himself. I'm really not. Do you feel comfortable saying one way or the other how he died?
Well, on my show Justice, I had Dr. Cyril Wecht on, and we went through the possibilities. Look, does it make sense to you that you've got the highest profile inmate in the United States, where everybody's asleep, the cameras aren't working,
thank you,
the cellmate's been removed,
right,
and this guy, who Jeffrey Epstein,
and the sheets too, by the way, you had regular bed sheets, not tearaway sheets. All that.
Oh, yeah, no question. But even more than that, Jeffrey Epstein said he didn't try to kill himself earlier on July 23rd.
That's right.
That his cellmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, who I know because he was a cop in Westchester when I was the DA, he beat the hell out of anybody for any reason, okay? He was his cellmate for a quadruple homicide. But if he didn't try to kill himself on July 23rd, what makes people think he tried to kill himself on August 10th when he finally died? And by the way, the hyoid bone being busted, guys, I did a lot of intentional strangulation homicides. That is busted when another person puts their hand on your neck to kill you. A sheet does not break the hyoid bone. And Dr. Cyril Wecht made clear that there would be other injuries not that kind of injury. And I want to know, I have never heard a medical examiner give a preliminary autopsy report, and then within 7 days, when there are 5 agencies doing investigations as to what the peripheral issues are, what was going on in the prison, she decides, okay, yeah, it's suicide. Really? It should have been pending until all these investigations were over.
True. The always brilliant and fiery Justice Jeanine Pirro. Listen, your former book, Judge, was Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, a New York Times bestseller. Right now, your new book is called Radicals, Resistance, and Revenge, and the left's plot to remake America. Tell us about that book.
Well, look, we all know there are radicals out there. All you have to do is look at the fact that these are people who want to remake America, that they resist everything that Donald Trump does, and it's all because of their revenge. In the end, what you've got are want to remake America. They want to change this country. They don't care about the immigration laws. They don't care about the First Amendment. Right now, you can't say what you want to say. It's referred to now as hate speech, as politically correct. They're shutting down conservatives on Facebook and Twitter, and people who say certain things end up getting, punished for what they say, and I'll leave it at that. They want socialism, and they're pushing for it. They attack life itself when they want to be able to kill babies after the babies are born, as Ralph Northam described, the governor in Virginia, the one accused of blackface, that nothing happened to him. I mean, everything is different the way they want this country to work. And so they turn the Constitution upside down when a Brett Kavanaugh is guilty until proven innocent. Everything is upside down with this group. It is nothing like our founding fathers thought it would be. And if it continues along this track where nobody cares about law and order, nobody cares about the Constitution, the presumption of innocence if you're conservative, and then they've got this Democrat clown car. These bozos running for president on the left, I mean, it's hysterical. All you have to do is just wait. I don't know who'd be more entertaining. Elizabeth Warren running for president or Joe Biden. I mean, every week Joe Biden says something. I prefer the facts over the truth, or the truth over the facts. I mean, what are you talking about? What planet are you on?
No,
Sleepy Joe.
Yep. Listen, it's great to talk to you. By the way, the Napoleon at Mateo is very, very good. That's the best Napoleon dessert anywhere in the country. You're great. Your book is great. Your TV show is great, Jeanine. And keep coming back. Bernie and Sid love you. Thank you.
Love you guys, too. Thanks.
All right, Judge.